Welcome to the last Yama. Today we're doing Aparigraha, which is moderation inwardly and outwardly. It is non-attachment, non-accumulation, non-greediness, only taking what is appropriate or necessary. And you might notice that I said moderation practice both inwardly and outwardly. And the yamas are about the ethical practices in the world, right? The niyamas are the inward ethical practices, but this is the last yama. So just like, in the zodiacal calendar, the last degrees of a sign are also the transition to the first degrees of the next sign, right? They're related. It's not just like a cutoff there. They flow into one another. And I think that's exactly why Aparigraha is the first yama that is also about like truly your inward. It takes a lot of inward courage to practice moderation, and it's perfect to follow Brahmacharya because, in this you are following out in the world the divine rather than the pleasure inside. So I guess that was also kind of a transition, but this just like really goes home and applies the moderation. And, coincidentally, I happen to be reading this amazing book. If you want to learn alchemy, this is the book to get. Anatomy of the Psyche by Edward F. Edinger. It's really good. It has a lot of great references from the alchemists. And And so I read this and I was like, this is so perfect for Aparigraha, which we're covering this week in the Yama Niyama series. So here's the quote. It's by C.G. Jung, Carl Jung. The problem of crucifixion is the beginning of individuation. There is the secret meaning of the Christian symbolism, a path of blood and suffering. Like any other step forward on the road of the evolution of human consciousness. Can man stand a further increase of consciousness? I confess that I submitted to the divine power of this apparently unsurmountable problem, and I consciously and intentionally made my life miserable because I wanted God to be alive and free from the suffering man has put on him by loving his own reason more than God's secret intentions. When Jung said, can we handle more consciousness? I think he means, can we handle the initial suffering to get to those secret intentions of God? You know what I mean? Can we handle following God's principles? Because, an animal can't do this because they can't conceptualize. They don't have conscious awareness, so they can't, and when we are this creature that doesn't practice moderation, that just takes with pleasure, that just, consumes everything. This is our animal aspect, right? So when we're practicing Aparigraha, we're practicing, again, of course, the development of consciousness, the development of God in our own consciousness, our connection to spirit, making us more spiritual rather than earthly, right? To become spiritual, you're above the earthly impulses, right? And, of course, it gets kind of tricky because, who says what God's rules are? And we've had, like, the Christian church that had a bunch of people in power that are like, don't be greedy, but then have you been to the Vatican? Because when I walked into the Vatican, I didn't feel anything spiritual. I felt like this is a place of political power, and that's how the church acted. And so it's very complicated. But I will say that the yamas and niyamas, I personally use them and they changed my entire life. So I think they're pretty good principles, but maybe you don't. I don't know. But we're talking about them. So we're just going to trust them right now, okay? You've made it to the fifth yama. You're into them. Let's do it, okay? And how does this work practically, developing the consciousness? Well, like the easiest way to understand is eating, the consumption, right? Moderation and consumption in food. Not every day you're as hungry. You're not hungry consistently to the same amount every day. Some days you're really hungry and some days you're not hungry at all. And I myself have been guilty of this. Sometimes I do. I'm like, I'm not hungry, and so I don't finish it. But sometimes, like if I'm not being conscious that day, especially if I've had a hard day or a stressful day, or I'm doing something else while I'm eating dinner, I'm not being conscious of how does my body feel eating really fast, I will just eat the same huge salad that I eat for dinner every single night, and then I will feel terrible afterwards because I was not conscious of what I was consuming, you know? And it can be hard to, not consume as much or be conscious. It can be hard if you're in, okay, let's do another one. Let's say you're in the habit of always having, a podcast on when you're doing stuff. And you say, I want to consume less information just coming in. I want to stop and think about the information. So I'll allow myself one podcast a day. And then after that, when I'm doing the other stuff I would normally do while consuming the podcast, instead of just consuming another one, taking in more information, more consumption for the brain, right? Information's like you're consuming the brain. I'm going to stop and think like, what did this mean to me? Do I agree with this? Blah, 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 blah. And that can be hard at first. But, my yoga teacher said once, if you scratch the chicken pox, they have no chance to heal, right? So you stop scratching, you stop that need for consumption, and they have a chance to heal. And this can be extremely hard in a culture like ours where everyone's competing for our attention, competing to sell us stuff, to ask us to consume. And you could say, oh, well, this is like capitalism or something. But I don't even think that it's really about capitalism. I think it's more about materialism. Like we're always searching for things outside of ourselves. If we go back and look at the Tibetan monks, the way that we go and search in space for stuff, which is amazing and I love and I'm like really into it. But the way we go outside and search in space, they would go and search their internal universes, right? And we have no balance. We only have this rationalistic outside extroverted lens. And so in materialism, we're always consuming things. We're always looking outside of ourselves rather than inside of ourselves. So I think this is a huge barrier. And if you just think about like happiness, I did that video on happiness, right? Which came from the yoga teachers in the same yoga teacher training, and they were talking about how happiness is not like the dopamine, right? The joy of like, I got this, I got that. Because the moment you get the thing, you actually want the next thing. It's this whole spiral. It's like goal motivation. It's evolution. Whereas satisfaction, being satisfied what you have, moderation is a much more thing that can be sustained. You can sustain satisfaction because happiness is a moment. It's fleeting. It's a laugh. Whereas satisfaction can be sustained and can be worked on. Be like, I'm satisfied with this. This is what I need. And in that, I think you're actually relying more on your conscious connection to yourself, right? The caps lock S self, the God, being like, I'm okay in this. This is good. It's more of an internal thing. I'm thankful for what I have instead of wanting to consume more, right? So I think that it's just really great for mental health. And, the thing is, like, I always think about this with attachment, right? Because the Buddha was like, don't develop attachment. And I think this is because anything that you search for outside yourself, is fleeting. It's not going to sustain you. Whereas developing this consciousness, this connection with yourself, that is the only thing that will always be connected to you. And again, when I say self, I mean caps lock S self, which means God, the universe. So yeah, let's tap through Aparigraha. Okay, so remember to sit on a block or a book or a blanket or anything to even just a little bit elevation of your butt is going to help your spine align better. Mine isn't because I'm like, hey, do you hear me? And the tapping spots, remember the hand, don't need to bang it, just a light tap is fine. Hand, top of head, that's the only one where you can go like this, but you can also do the two fingers. We do third eye, inner eyebrow, outer eyebrow, under eye, under nose, under lip, collarbone, rib, index finger, ring finger, pinky finger, back to here, and then we do the weird stuff at the end. And is there anything else? Yeah, I think that's it. So let's close our eyes and start focusing on the breathing. Breathe in and feel the oxygen spreading to every cell in your body. Feel it, vitalizing the organs and the muscles and the tissues of the body. Hold it in And when you breathe out slowly. Let the air come out slowly. Control the breathing. What's going on in the body today? How does it feel? How do your feet feel? How do your shins feel? Your thighs, your lower body, your stomach, your chest, your neck, your shoulders, your head. How does the energy feel around your body? How is your breath today? How is your heart? Or the heart space? Okay, let's start the first round. Remember, you just repeat after me, except for when I, cue the different parts, then you don't need to repeat after me. Okay, meaty part of the hand. I have consumed more than I needed, but I unconditionally love and accept myself. Top of head. I have consumed more than I needed, but I unconditionally love and accept myself. Third eye. I have consumed more than I needed. Inner eyebrow. I have consumed more than I needed. Outer eyebrow. I have consumed more than I needed. Under eye. I have consumed more than I needed. Under nose. I have consumed more than I needed. Under lip. I have consumed more than I needed. Collarbone. I have consumed more than I needed. Rib. I've consumed more than I needed. Index finger. I have consumed more than I needed. Ring finger. I have consumed more than I needed. Pinky finger. I have consumed more than I needed. Back to the meaty part of the hand. I have consumed more than I needed, but I unconditionally love and accept myself. Now stop and tune into the body. Do you feel the energy, the chi, flowing any different? Do you feel the meridian points that we've just activated? Okay, round two. In my environment, moderation has not been healthfully encouraged. Still, I unconditionally love and accept myself. Top of head. In my environment, moderation has not been healthfully encouraged. Still, I unconditionally love and accept myself. Third eye. Moderation has not been healthfully encouraged. Inner eyebrow. Moderation has not been healthfully encouraged. Outer eyebrow. Moderation has not been healthfully encouraged. Under eye. Moderation has not been healthfully encouraged. Under nose. Moderation has not been healthfully encouraged. Under lip. Moderation has not been healthfully encouraged. Ribs. Moderation has not been healthfully encouraged. Index finger. Moderation has not been healthfully encouraged. Ring finger. Moderation has not been healthfully encouraged. Pinky finger. Moderation has not been healthfully encouraged. Back to the meaty part of the hand. In my environment, moderation has not been healthfully encouraged. Still, I unconditionally love and accept myself. Okay, stop. Tune into the body, tune into the spine. Do you feel the energy flowing any differently? Do you feel the energy around your body any differently? Are you more conscious of it? Okay, to the hand. With moderation comes satisfaction with life. And I unconditionally love and accept myself. Top of head. With moderation comes satisfaction with life. And I unconditionally love and accept myself. Third eye. With moderation comes satisfaction. Inner eyebrow. With moderation comes satisfaction. Outer eyebrow. With moderation comes satisfaction. Under eye. With moderation comes satisfaction. Under nose. With moderation comes satisfaction. Under lip. With moderation comes satisfaction. Collarbones. With moderation comes satisfaction. Ribs. With moderation comes satisfaction. Pointer finger. With moderation comes satisfaction. Ring finger. With moderation comes satisfaction. Pinky finger. With moderation comes satisfaction. Meaty part of the hand. With moderation comes satisfaction with life. And I unconditionally love and accept myself. Okay, stop. Center your energy within your body. Become conscious of the energy around the body. Final round. meaty part of the hand. Aparigraha. Non-greediness, to accept only what is appropriate. Top of head. Aparigraha. Non-greediness, to accept only what is appropriate. Third eye. Aparigraha. Inner eyebrow. Aparigraha. Outer eyebrow. Aparigraha. Under eye. Aparigraha. Under nose. Aparigraha. Under lip. Aparigraha. Collarbone. Aparigraha. Rib. Aparigraha. Pointer finger. Aparigraha. Ring finger. Aparigraha. Pinky finger. Aparigraha. Meaty part of the hand. Aparigraha. Non-greediness, to accept only what is necessary. Okay, now stop. And we're gonna have our tapping Shavasana. Oh wait, no, we gotta do the last tap. Okay, so open your eyes. We're gonna do the gamma point, which is, between the ring finger and the pinky finger in this little triangle right here. You should feel a little sensation, right in this little triangle. So we're gonna tap 8 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Close your eyes. Open your eyes. Look down to the left. Straight on. Look down to the right, straight on. Roll your eyes one way, roll your eyes the other way. We're gonna for 5 seconds. Ready? Om. Count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Count back from 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All the way down. Now look all the way up, and 8 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now stop. And now we have our Shavasana. Thank goodness. Just let everything, the tapping, the discussion sink into the body. What is Aparigraha to you? Where would you benefit from more Aparigraha in your life? Where could the necessary yet short-lived pain of applying Aparigraha benefit you and the person you're building and the habits you build and how you interact with the world? Trust whatever comes up. And then look deeper. With each breath, the prana comes into the body and it sets Aparigraha further into the systems of the body, the cells of the body, the organs of the body, the muscles, the tissues. The oxygen is going into these places, nourishing them. And bringing with it what we've just learned. I feel like we should end with an Om today, so let's do that, okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Namaste. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed Aparigraha and all the Yamas. And I hope you bring Aparigraha into your week this week. And I hope you come back for the Yamas that we're going to begin. No, the Niyamas. I am all over the place today. The Niyamas that we're going to begin next week. Thank you so much. Bye.